Welcome to Versefest 2020. Bienvenue à Versefest 2020. My name is Hubert Lucier and I have the honor to chair Verse Ottawa's board. Je suis le président du conseil d'administration de Verse Ottawa. This year marks our 10th festival. As with previous editions, our program comprises a wealth of poets in many genres from several continents. We present in English and in French. For reasons that will be obvious to everyone, this year also constitutes a first in that we're entirely online. That being said, we remain an Ottawa-based organization, and I want to acknowledge that Ottawa is part of the traditional unceded territory of the Algonquin Anishinaabe people. The mindset in preparing this festival went far beyond let's grin and bear it. We've added several new formats to our sessions. We're making them accessible to all, free of charge. We're allowing for more dialogue between poets and the audience. Cette année introduit une grande nouveauté puisque nous vous accueillons exclusivement en ligne. Cela signifiait davantage que faire contre mauvaise fortune bon cœur, car nous avons enrichi notre offre de sessions originales qui permettront, je l'espère, de rejoindre et faire dialoguer avec les poètes participants un public plus large que jamais. Rien de cela n'aurait été possible sans le concours d'une équipe de bénévoles dévoués, ni sans les partenaires qui nous accordent leur soutien, parmi lesquels le Conseil des arts du Canada, la Ville d'Ottawa, le Conseil des arts de l'Ontario, Patrimoine canadien et l'ACFO d'Ottawa. Je les remercie chaleureusement, de même que vous, chers membres de notre public, tout en vous souhaitant un excellent festival. None of this would have been possible without a fantastic team of volunteers. Our various partner organizations devoted to the promotion of poetry in Canada's National Capital Region, as well as our sponsors, among which the Canada Council for the Arts, the City of Ottawa, the Ontario Arts Council, Canadian Heritage, and ACFO d'Ottawa. In closing, I want to thank you, members of our audience, and wish you a wonderful festival.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Versefest, our 2020 edition of the festival. We have the Transatlantic Showcase featuring the Irish poets Julie Morrissy and Stephen Sexton joining the Icelandic poet Ásta, Fanney, Sigurðardóttir. My name is David O'Mara, and I'll be your host for this event. I hope you've been enjoying and tuning in and to the festival, and a reminder that you can continue to view all of the past events of this festival for the duration. Versefest is located in Ottawa, Canada, the traditional territory of the Algonquin Anishinaabe people, and we want to acknowledge and thank them. I would also like to extend a big thank you to all the participants, production crew and volunteers, and of course our many festival sponsors. A full list of these is worth viewing on the festival website on the splash page. I want to really thank Culture Ireland and the Icelandic Literature Centre, both of which have been generous with their support in our past festivals and have enabled us to bring participants from those countries over. So thanks again to them. Poet Stephen Sexton lives in Belfast, where he teaches and lectures at the Seamus Heaney Centre. Among several distinctions, he was the winner of the 2016 National Poetry Competition and received an Eric Gregory Award in 2018. His pamphlet, Oils, was also the Poetry Society's Winter Pamphlet Choice, and his full collection, If All the World and Love Were Young, was shortlisted for the Dylan Thomas Prize, was the winner of the M. Forrester Award, and the Forward Prize for Best First Collection in 2019. This book that channels memory and grief through the levels of the Super Mario World video game surprises with playfulness and an unexpected emotional heft. Alive and vivid with images, the poems resonate with a magical energy wrought by loss and remembrance. Please welcome Stephen Sexton.
Hello, everyone. I hope you're very well. I wish I was with you in Canada. Alas, I am not. But I'm sending you my very best wishes from the northwest of Ireland. I'm very happy to participate in this event in any way. And I'm going to read you a handful of poems from my book, If All the World and Love Were Young. Before I do that, I need to tell you a little bit about it. So this is a book that started when I was writing a lot of poems about images, about paintings, about photographs, that kind of thing. And I grew tremendously bored of it. And eventually decided, in a mischievous kind of mood, that I'd write about a different kind of visual image. So I decided to write about Super Mario World. And for those of you who know Super Mario World, no further explanation is required. For those of you who don't, I'm going to provide a tiny bit of an introduction. Super Mario, is a small Italian plumber. He is a video game character. His condition in life is to run left to right, across all kinds of fantastical landscapes. I spent a long time with Super Mario when I was a very young person. So revisiting these kinds of landscapes that he runs through brought back a lot of strange memories. Eventually, what I realized when I was writing these poems about Super Mario was that I wasn't really doing that at all. I was, in fact, writing an elegy for my mother, who had died a couple of years before I started writing this book. So it came as a surprise to me that, in fact, this book that appears to be about a video game isn't really about a video game. So I'm going to read you the first little section of this book. It's in 9 worlds, as we like to call them. And yeah, if you think of Dante, that's about right. Another small Italian man running around, getting into trouble. Similar kind of procedure. So this book starts with a note. This book starts with a photograph. I'm going to read you this note, and then I'll read you this first section. Really, the project of the book, I suppose, is blending 2 worlds together, the real world and the imaginary world. Sometimes it's better to be in one than the other. In the summer of 1998, when I was 9, my mother took a photograph of me playing Super Mario World in the small spare room in our house. My back is to the camera. The television was positioned so it faced out from the corner of the room where the wall met the patio door. To my left, I could see the garden along which a little river ran, and to my right, there was the huge block of the television, which was already 15 or 16 years old. My eyes drifted between these 2 positions. Because of the flash of the camera and the glare of the television screen, it's impossible to tell which of the following levels I'm playing. The Super Nintendo is a 16-bit console. Put simply, 16-bit refers to how much memory the system can process at one time. Yoshi's Island. Yoshi's house. These are the days of no letters. The magenta mailbox jitters out of the visible spectrum. Babies chirp in our holly tree. Mountains yield to the foreground. And sadly, again, they're beautiful. My friends scattered in the lowlands. The fire seizes in the grate. The smoke signals across the eaves say all I really mean to say. I have gone to rescue my friends. I'll think of you and you and you. Yoshi's Island 1. Here spotted mountains and cirrus. Here sloping plateau drawn down on carnivorous plants and no sun. Gold by the cherish underground. Fly agaric throbs everywhere with fire plants and dinosaurs. In these days new as tomorrow, there is joy to be recorded. The tender steps in other lands, all the flowers of the garden. My mother winds her camera. The room is spelled with sudden light. A rush of photons at my back, a fair wind from the spectral world. I remember myself being remembered, a little lotus, a cross-legged meditant for whom the questions floating in the air are for a future self to voice, decades from now, who will return again and again to this room and these moments of watershed. It will be an adventure, I think. It will be an adventure. The future is cannon blasting. Yes, I must have dreamt this. Her voice narrows into dreams of such things. Ships sink at the edge of the world. Yoshi's Island 2. Pixels and bits. Pixels and bits. Their perpendicularity. One of the worlds I live in is as shallow as a pane of glass. The threshold of the window sets a frame around the holly tree, wild funguses, slimy with dew and toxicity, the rubies of hollyberries sing on the branches the robins hide among, and the veins of ivy vines wind around the slumping trunk and boughs, slowberries in the blackthorn, and the carcinogenic bracken. Groundsels loiter along the low-dashed wall, the daisies loll about. One summer's day, I'm summoned home to hear of cells which split and glitch so haphazardly. Someone is called to intervene with poisons drawn from strange and peregrine trees flourishing in distant kingdoms. We take the air in the garden, bitter with berries and mushrooms too toxic to eat, where the grass bows in an unexpected breeze. Yoshi's Island 3. Today I climbed the Windy Mount, the highest peak in this region. My singular wish was to see what its elevation offered. With one companion, my brother, who is no better or worse than anyone else, I saw blankets of mushroom fields reducible to patchworks, what the bird's eye view must see of farms in Genoa. I went so far up the broken path, I supposed I should almost see the curve of the planet or the whim on which the waves begin. But for the first time in some time, I thought of our father at home, the sirocco in from the south, turtle doves in the huge wheat fields. Yoshi's Island 4. Salt water everywhere. Low tides undulate a flotsam of mines. The archipelago aswim with joyful blue-white pufferfish. And in a neighbouring province, cigarro prowl a feline prowl. The ankle-deep children's pool on the peninsula buoyed us up, aboard a heavy pedalo, the likeness of a giant swan, almost unmanoeuvrable about the tropical island, silly with plastic palms and shale, from whose hollow we called to land, to our mother on the seafront between the artificial pool and the sun-struck coastal waters, who beckons us back to harbour. Since it's August, she begins the idle effacement of dying, the many prickles of needles, of many exotic compounds, hormones and corticosteroids, the stiffening of the larynx, mouth the dry of the walk alone into the desert, finding there those cactuses, their open arms, and their long, curious shadows. Iggy's Castle. My dreams reply, the garden has become an ocean of lava, a precinct of spewing tephra, the rock like black honey folding over again impossibly. And yet on a shaky island, someone stands surrounded by fire, who says to go on without me. So there is a sound in the house when I wake, mice under the moon. My mother, who cannot sleep, halves a bright grapefruit, whose feet, whose toes, whose hands, whose fingers, whose ankles, whose head, she says, are on fire.
Now to our final poet of the Transatlantic Showcase. You can never know exactly what to expect with an Ásta Fanney Sigurðardóttir reading or performance. Known for her poetic bridge between mediums, she has performed in a wide variety of festivals and exhibitions around the world, including Denmark, England, Greece, Slovakia, Turkey, Ireland, Italy, and of course, in her own home country, Iceland. After publishing her first prize-winning book of poetry, Ásta opted to focus on the live representation of the poem, often collaborating through visual art and music. The many mediums she uses, whether drawings, film, sound art, and installations, focus on word-related phenomenon, language, and taboos, creating a vital dynamic of surprise and paradox. Please welcome Ásta Fanney Sigurðardóttir.
Einn, tveir og... Það er að fara... Ok. Niður þetta frætt. Stillaka. Takk. Hello.
Hello,
My name is Ásta.
ég heiti Ásta.
Ég heiti Ásta.
My name is Ásta.
And I'm gonna read series of shape.
Og ég ætla að lesa
Og
seríu
ég
forma.
ætla að lesa
And I'm gonna read
seríu forma.
series of shapes.
Amma dreki
Grandma
til
Dragon
pönsur.
makes pancakes.
Bestu, sagði
The
móðir.
best, said mother.
Leyndarmálið
The
þess ekki
secret
hvíta.
whipped across.
Pönnukaka er pönnukaka, sagði
Pancake
ég.
is pancake, I
Aðeins
said.
liturinn
Only
afbrigði
the color
afgerandi
variant,
öðruvísi.
decisively different.
Dreka bera svarta
G-Dragon
díla,
had black
brennir
dots.
svindl sykur.
Burned but
Hinnar
cheated
ljósari
like
litaðar
sugar.
karamellum.
Mother's letter,
Tvær
colored
pönnur
caramel.
aðeins
Two
þægilegra.
bands more
En
convenient.
ég veit
But
betur.
I knew better.
Ég finn lykt af
I
óþolinmæði.
smell impatience.
Þú getur ekki falið þig
You
fyrir
cannot hide
afkvæmum.
from your offspring.
Á hinum mínum besta
The
pönsugerða
best
tíma var
pancake
lögun
make
óvænt.
time.
Það
Shapes
fyrsta sem ég
unexpected.
prófaði
The
tíman var
first I
formið
tried
óvart.
at times the form
Þyktin,
surprise.
breytan,
The
formið
thickness,
óregluleg.
the variant,
Sporösku laga
shape,
en samt ekki.
irregular,
Ringlaga
oval
en
but
samt
not,
ekki. Armar
round
stóðu
but
út.
not,
Armar uksu.
orange
Ég
brooded,
hallaði pönnunni.
orange grew.
Þykkur vökvi
I
lag.
tilted the pan,
Lögun
thickly,
órólegra tungla
with a
með 10
shape
hendur.
uneasy,
Of mörg
moons with
augu
the 10
andlit.
hands, too
Aldrei
many-eyed
þeyttar
faces,
hvítur,
never a
aldrei
whiskered,
tvær
never
pönnur.
the two pans.
Tilrauna tilhneiging víkur fyrir
Experimental
minnisleysi.
tendency disappears
Að
for a lack
gleyma
of memory.
uppskrift gerir mig
Forgetting a
frumlega.
recipe makes me original.
Hvernig verða
How
gallar
flaws
að gæðum
become a quality.
og ókostir að
How the
vegvísum.
faults become signpost.
Fyrsta gæludýrið bjó á
The
bringunni.
first pat,
Pínu
lived
lítill
on the
kassi í
forest.
streng.
tiny
Við
box
bárum
and
það
string.
hálsinn eins og
We
medalíur.
wore it around our
Við
necks like
uxum til að
medallions.
elska.
You grew to
Hálslaus,
like it,
fætt úr
even
rafmagni.
love it.
Rafhlöðurnar matur fyrir pí.
Born from electricity,
Hugsanlega framleitt fyrir
its
börn
batteries
með
beeping for
ofnæmi.
food.
Eða
They were
foreldra
perhaps
sem
made
vilja
for
aldrei
children
fara
with
út með
allergies
hunda.
or parents that
Tíminn
didn't walk a
gómað
dog.
okkur. Við glemdum að
Time
fæða
caught
þau
us.
með dimmum ferningum
We forgot to
flugrita
feed it black
í
squares
skúffum,
and
í
drawers
töskum.
and bags.
Það undarleg
It's a
tilfinning að
strange
svíkja
feeling
eitthvað falskt.
betraying something that is unreal.
En hvað svo sem
But then again,
ekta?
what is real?
Ég man núna, það var
I
gult,
remember now, it
streng
was yellow,
bleikur,
strange
lagaður
pink,
ávalur ferningur, mjúkt
shaped
búr
like a
fyrir
round
falska
square,
ástúð,
soft cage for
þæginlegra
fake
en
affection,
eitthvað alvöru.
more comfortable than real.
Ólíklegur kleinurringur, pantaður, frosinn, settur
Unlikely
út, flatt
donut,
bakaður.
ordered
Ílangur, feitur,
frozen
flatur,
but
falinn
baked like it
búðingi.
baked,
Við fengum
round
aðeins
fat
brauð,
flat with
við
hidden pudding.
fengum aðeins bollur.
We could only bread,
Aldrei þessa
we could
löngu
only
kleinu langa
bones.
Jón.
Never
Eina
is named a
æta
long
inntaki
John,
nefnt eftir manneskju.
the only edible
Hver
item in the
eða var
bakery with
þessi
a
maður
human
sem
name.
svo
Who is
heiðraður
this
að
man?
nefnt eftir
And
honum
why is a
bakkelsi?
straight donut named after him?
Hans kannski
In honor,
saknað af
gratitude.
bökurum.
Maybe he passed
Ég
away
get
and the
rétt svo
bakers
ímyndað
miss him.
mér þennan mann.
I can imagine a
Langi
person
Jón.
called Long John,
Virðist
appears
harðjaxl en
tough,
svo
but is
holur, fylltur
gooey
mjúku,
in the
sætu,
middle.
klístri.
soft, sweet,
Sérkennilegt
man.
að borða eitthvað kistulaga.
peculiar
Nefnt
to
eftir
eat
látnum
something coffin
manni.
shaped, named after a dead man.
Það minnir á vegasalt,
It reminds
tóbak,
me of a sea salt,
sveðju eða krydd,
tobacco, sword,
skera,
or spice,
rátt.
slicer,
Það sem við sjáum ekki mikilvægt.
false.
Lögun
What we
þess
see
nauðsynlega
not
af
is
óþekktum
important.
ástæðum.
Its shape,
Sveiflujafnvægi sýndu
century,
okkur hvernig á að
for
hringa
reasons
sig.
unknown. Balance show us how to become circulated.
Demantana lagði
The
afi á
diamonds the
borðið,
grandfather lay on the
bruggaði
table,
sér síðan
and
hægt og
slowly
rólega
moving
með
back and
raulandi
forth in a
röddu,
humming voice,
þuldi upp
reciting
fornar vísur
poems from
hvert og
far
eitt orð
back,
óheyrilegt
every
grums,
word inaudible.
mig gruna,
I suspect
álög,
spells,
kerfi sem ég þekki ekki með ungum heila,
stems I
prófum
know not
þolinmæði,
with the
hæla,
young brain,
kosti,
testing
tær, í
patience,
röðum af rauðu og
heels,
svartu,
voices,
konunglegu fólki á
toes,
pappír,
and rows of
í
red
sortum,
and black,
svo einföld,
royal
svo
people on the paper,
glæsileg,
dressed
svo
in
þjál,
suits,
svo sterk,
so
tákn,
simple, so elegant, so
tígull
smooth,
minnir mig á tígull,
so strong,
Wood.
symbols.
gull, skrifað eins og gull,
Teawood reminds me of
öðruvísi,
teawood, wood, wood, foul like
það
gold but
skepna í
different.
sjónum sem kallast
There's a creature
ígulker,
in the sea called
Eagle.
Evilker.
tígull,
Teawood,
nafn þess hefur eitthvað
Its
að gera með
name,
broddgelti,
something to do with
eða múrsteina,
hedgehogs
eða húsþök,
or red bricks or rooftops.
það datt í teiknimyndum, það datt,
From
málmur
the
hinn þyngsti af öllum
cartoons it was
þungum hlutum,
falling,
steðji á
not
hausinn,
so heaviest
steðji á
thing of
rófuna,
all heavy
tilvalið
things,
væri að segja
anvil
klandur,
on the head,
kjánaleg
anvil on a
vandræði,
pail.
samofið
Usable
léttleika,
word would be
hvílík,
clump,
klípa,
a silly trouble,
sjaldgæfir eru hlutir sem
interwoven with
þola hita
lightness,
frá járni sem
a
hamrað er
pickle.
heitt.
Things that carry heat from forging weapons are rare.
Þetta form þarfna stengra
This
útskýringa.
shape needs no explanation.
Það fullkomin
It is the
blómagnar,
perfect nectar,
lögun,
the shape
stjarna,
of stars,
enda punktur sem leiðir
endings,
að upphafi.
dots, leading to a beginning of something new.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Well, that wraps things up. Thank you so much to me, Stephen, and Ásta for those wonderful readings and performance. We hope the next time we see you will be in person, and that concludes our Transatlantic Showcase. We'd welcome you to add any comments on the chat option and any questions you might have. We'll hopefully the poets will be able to answer before the event ends online. And please stay tuned for tonight's Plan 99 readings, also hosted by me, with Conyer Clayton, Ken Babstock, and Anik McGaskill. Thank you so much.